Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jeffrey Meldon with Meldon Law, welcoming you to Meldon Law and Friends. To my right is Carrie Meldon, my partner in the law firm, and Richard Perlini, our litigator in the firm. And it's a special edition of Law Talk Live a la Meldon Law and Friends, because we're going to be talking a little bit about law in the first part of this episode. Before we get to what we're going to be talking about today, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the Ocala, Gainesville community. Tomorrow, August 11th, is a big day because Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is going to be open to the public Wednesday through Sunday. On Wednesdays, 3 to 11, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 to 12, and Sunday, 3 to 11. You can make reservations at spurriersgridirongrill.com. And we would recommend that you do so because it is an amazing restaurant and museum. Not only is the museum one of the most interesting and captivating museums in Florida, however, the food is just as good as the museum. So I've been there 4 or 5 times now. I've been the guinea pig trying to make sure that the menu is just perfect. And I can tell you it's farm to table, and you will not be disappointed. So again, spurriersgridirongrill.com for reservations. On another note, this coming Saturday, we have the North Central Florida Outdoor Expo at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala, August 14th from 9 a.m. in the morning till 3 p.m. And just look up World Equestrian Center. You'll find the location. If you don't know, World Equestrian Center is going to be the horse capital of the world. Ocala holds itself out as the world horse capital, but the World Equestrian Center is going to be literally the epicenter of folks that are into horses around the world. So it's a big deal. And Meldon Law is going to be a supporting sponsor for the event. So please show up this Saturday. It's going to have anything that is outdoors is going to be there. There's dozens and dozens of folks that are going to be having exhibits there. So please go there. Check out the Meldon Law exhibit. We're going to have a tent there, and some of our team members are going to be there giving out really exciting prizes. So again, North Central Florida Outdoor Expo, August 14th is Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala. And the following Saturday, a huge event, Ocala Food and Wine Festival. That's Saturday, August 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. again at the World Equestrian Center. Celebrity chef and author, restaurateur, Chef Art Smith will be there. He's hosting the evening of tasting and entertainment, and dozens and dozens of local chefs are going to be there. There's going to be the Iron Chef style competition, cooking demonstrations, live music, lots of fun. The admission is $75 per person, and you get a lot for it. World Equestrian Center logo glass with unlimited tastings, unlimited food samples from local restaurants, wineries, breweries, and distilleries from 5 to 8 at the Ocala World Equestrian Center. Go to ocalafoodandwinefest.com to get more information. So anyhow, now that we've got that information shared with everybody, we want to welcome one of the premier lawyers in this part of the world. His name is Richard Perlini, and he just so happens to work for Meldon Law. And we want to welcome Richard. How are you doing today?
Very well. You know, you mentioned something, and I want to go back to Spurrier's for just a minute. What type of food do they have? And I should know this, but what's farm to table mean?
Okay, that means there's no frozen food in the restaurant.
Oh, awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
and so that means if you have some Angus beef on the table, it came from Ocala, from the farm down there. There's also beef ranches other places. If you got cheese or milk products, it came from Hawthorne, Florida. If the other day I had eggplant there, okay, and it came from Lake City. And so our good friend Freddie Wiebe is giving me some inside information. As a matter of fact, when you go there and you get fish, you're going to be able to have an app that'll tell you when that fish was caught, where it was caught, on what boat, and who the captain was.
Wow.
So that's
incredible.
That's a lot of information.
Now I understand what farm to table means. Sorry, remember, if I'm from a city, it's farm to table is a little bit new term, but that's one of you also supporting a lot of local businesses along the way.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, folks in this part of the world really appreciate getting fresh food. I know we're going to start on your journey to Marion County and this part of Florida in just a second, but I would imagine that in Fort Lauderdale you don't get that much farm to table.
Not anymore. You know, years and years ago, when places like Boca were a lot of farmland, and West Broward was a lot of farmland, even West Dade. Now it's pretty much populated.
So I want to start back. 1975, you're attending the University of Florida Law School.
Go Gators!
Here in Gainesville. Okay, and can you tell us about what some of your experiences were here in Gainesville and the University of Florida as far as your first job?
Well, surprisingly enough, my first job as a private lawyer was with Jeffrey Meldon at Meldon Law. And in 1975, working for Jeffrey, I tried my very first trial. It was a criminal trial as a private lawyer. I did work in the state attorney's office in West Palm Beach before that, got some trial experience, but that was the first private trial I ever handled for you.
You remember the case?
Very well. Gentleman, poor fellow walked in, left the Rathskeller, blew a 3-2 on a DUI. His dad came in, and son had aspirations of going on to, higher education, law school, and or medical school at the time. I don't know where he ended up, but so we ended up having to try the case. We did get a not guilty verdict, so that was a wonderful outcome, and I know the family was very pleased. And that was way before the day where you had reviews on the internet. In fact, there was no internet. Yeah. But you would have gotten a sparkling review for that case way back then.
So let's talk about where your journey took you next, because you left Gainesville. Where did you wind up?
I went back down to Hollywood, where I was living, and worked mostly in Broward County, living in Hollywood, then eventually moving to Weston, Florida, and had my office in Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale. Then I opened an office in Delray, and I had, kind of a few offices going. And I started out as a neighborhood lawyer. So if the neighbor walked in and he needed a will, I could do it. He needed a real estate closing, I could do it. Needed unfortunately, criminal charge, I could handle it. A personal injury case, I could do it. So I kind of did it all in the beginning, as many of us that started. I walked out of school, opened my own doors. So when you do that, you want to get the business. Family law, I did it all. And then gradually I kind of stopped doing one after another as I got larger and larger into the personal injury business. Then I stopped doing real estate closings, stopped doing family law after a while, and stopped doing criminal law. But I had probably over 100 criminal trials to jury verdict by that time. And it was fun, and I do remember having to try 5 DUI cases in 1 week. And that was too much. But it was fun.
Yeah, and actually the trial experience that you get trying criminal cases assists you in a personal injury case. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
I do remember my first trial when I worked for you as a private citizen, and I got to say, I was a bit nervous. And I think I still get a little butterflies every time I pick a jury. I want to do so well for our clients that, there's a certain amount of butterflies, and even defense attorneys get them, and experienced defense attorneys. It's kind of like getting excited before a game. You know you can do it well, you know you can play well, but you still get that little butterfly feeling. I think if you don't get that butterfly feeling, then you're kind of done. So, yeah, it was exciting. When you stand up in front of a jury, you can stand up in front of a jury, whether it's a criminal trial or a civil trial. Certainly there are different techniques, there's different aspects that you have to prove versus if you do a criminal that you have to defend. So those are entirely different, but being in court, you're in court. There's really, for people that graduated law school, you have transactional lawyers. Those are lawyers that do real estate closings, business closings, and that's a type of law. And then there's litigation. That's a different type of law and a different type of personality that goes into that field.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the most exciting trials you've ever had?
We had a very sad criminal case one time that was written up in the Miami Herald for quite a bit, where some fellows came in a car and started shooting up the neighborhood, and people from the neighborhood came out and started shooting back. There was an innocent woman that was sitting on the step of her apartment, and she was about 8 months pregnant, and she was shot and killed and lost her baby.
And who are you representing?
I was representing one of the fellows in the neighborhood that was defending himself, shooting back at the people that had come in to shoot up the neighborhood. Very difficult case. We had legal issues at that time with whether a crime against a fetus, and so there were a number of interesting twists and turns to that case. Kelly Hancock at that time was the prosecutor, who was an undefeated prosecutor at that time. Had never lost a murder case until then.
So you spent 45 years down in South Florida, Broward County, trying cases, and you eventually kind of focused in on personal injury. Is that correct?
Yes. For the last 22 years, strictly personal injury. Mostly automobile accidents and premise liability. I did not do medical malpractice or dental malpractice or legal malpractice. So I focused in on those two areas that I still specialize in.
And tell us a little bit about your move up to Marion County.
Well, we had a little farm in Jasper and absolutely loved it. When my wife would go up, and it was a little bit too remote. It was in the middle of about 25,000 acres of other folks' land, so it was a little remote for her. And we moved to Lake City, bought some property there. We were going to build a house, so we had met with the architect. We had the plans done. We're actually sitting at the table as we're sitting here today with the builder, and I have a pen in hand. And my wife goes, "Honey, could you hold up for just a second?" She goes, "I've been watching this house in Ocala, and I've always wanted to live in Ocala. We have horses, plus my wife rescues horses, and this particular house had a pre-made barn on it, and so she knew she could put our horses on it and have room to rescue horses, as well as all the other pets that my wife has collected during our marriage and long-term relationship. We have about 17 animals at the house. And we have everything from horses to, of course, dogs, 7 dogs, 3 cats, bunnies, wild bunnies, tortoise. We have a 65-pound tortoise. We have birds. So pretty much you name the animal, we have.
So your name is Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Doolittle, yes. Yeah. I feel like I married the little old lady in the shoe that had so many animals she didn't know what to do. So yeah, it's been wonderful. Love Ocala. The folks are just great
So
there.
wait, I want to hear. You're sitting there at the table.
So we're sitting there at the table, and my wife says, we got to drive to Ocala. So I'm in Lake City, and I said, okay. I put the pen down. We get in the car. We drive directly to Ocala. We get off at 200, drive down past Trinity High School, drive down the road there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's everything that we've wanted. With the farmland, and we drive by, there's horses and cows, and it was just awesome. And then drive up the hill to our neighborhood, and there was a veterinarian, Dr. Menard, that has been in town for a long time, and Kathy Crandon. Anybody that knows from South Florida knows the Crandon name, Crandon Park, Crandon Zoo, Crandon Island, etc. So they owned the house, and we ended up walking in the house, and my wife and Kathy started talking and kind of shooed me away. So I walk around, and I said, boy, it's a really nice place. And they come back, and they've got it all decided. The price, the terms, everything, it's all done. And I said, okay, I guess that's it. And 10 days later, we closed, and we've been in the process of moving. We didn't move in immediately. We got some of the things done, and I still had my practice in South Florida, so it was kind of a transition period. And then one day I was in Gainesville, and it was in the middle of COVID, and Gainesville was deserted. So we had to wait about 4 hours to get one of our cats fixed. And I decided, I haven't spoken to Jeffrey in 40 years. Why don't I go by his office and say hello? So I go by, and instead of saying hello, you say, come on over. I'm opening an office in Ocala. And I guess that was that.
Richard, how do the people that want to meet you now in our Ocala office, which is brand new, contact you?
Well, you dial 352-373-8000. And that gets you to the Ocala office and the Gainesville office. And we have receptionists at both offices, of course.
And the Ocala office is located right across from the hospitals.
Correct. Right on Pine Street, which is also 27, 301, 441. It's all the same. I mean, that was interesting. Ocala has a lot of street lanes and road streets and stuff. So absolutely love it there. We look forward to helping everybody in Ocala. If you have been injured, please call us. We will help you.
Yeah. So, how are the experience of moving to Marion County compared to the hustle and bustle of South Florida?
It's entirely different. I say that we walked into a store the other day, and a nice young couple. We're 10 steps away from the door. They hold the door open for us. And I'm going, wow, where am I?
Well,
and we walked in. But that's a small example
Yeah.
of the friendliness and the wonder that Ocala is.
and we were promoting the events that Meldon Law is supporting at the World Equestrian Center. What do you think of that place?
Well, we joined Golden Ocala Country Club, so that makes us, I guess, in some form or fashion, connected to the Equestrian Center. It's an amazing place. I was there just 2 weeks ago. The hotel there is magnificent. The restaurants are superb. All the arenas and all the activity. If you love horses, you love Ocala. You love the Equestrian Center. It's the most amazing horse place I've ever been to.
I call
it
it
includes Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I call it the Disney World for horses.
Absolutely. That'd be great co-name for it.
Yeah, there's really nothing quite like it, and we're coming to a end of this conclusion. So I want to thank you again, Richard. You were like one of our first guests on this podcast maybe 9 months ago.
Right.
And so it's exciting to have you back, and we look forward to continuing the dialogue. So thank you very much, and welcome to Meldon Law and Friends, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Go Gators! We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than not? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job, I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not, no,
I am
it's not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady
wait,
here,
honey.
this crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky.
Okay, we're back here at Meldon Law and Friends. I'm here with Jeffrey Meldon and our special guest and personal friend, Carly Asse. We'll be talking about Carly in a few minutes. Just briefly, we want to reiterate that Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is opening August 11th. That's this Thursday. And I would highly advise anyone out there to go look it up on the internet. You can make reservations. All the food is farm to table, whether you're a vegetarian or you're a meat eater. And we'll talk about Carly's background as well with regards to veganism. But it's the freshest food. It comes from local farms and local farmers. So I would really implore everyone out there to go look up Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. It's at Celebration Point, and it will be opening this Thursday, August 11th. And as we talked about in the beginning of the show, there are 2 Ocala events are going to be coming up this weekend, as well as August. What is it? August.
We have August 14th.
And then August 21st. So listen, rewind to the program if you want to know the dates. Jeffrey spent about 5 minutes talking about them, and they're really cool. They're going to be a good opportunity to feature Ocala. So with that being said, we have a little shortened segment, so I want to get right into it. Carly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So for those members of the audience out that don't know Carly Asse, he's kind of Gainesville's Renaissance man. He dabbles in a little bit of everything, but he's well known for his businesses that he owns here in Gainesville, as well as the documentaries that you've produced that are on Amazon Prime.
That's right.
So let's talk about Zen Fitness first.
Okay. Well, I started Zen in 2008, private personal training studio. And really our goal is just to help people reach their best health. You know, whatever it is, whatever goal they have, that's what we focus on, helping them get that based on, you know, whatever limitations. If they have a knee injury, shoulder injury, you got to work around that sometimes to help you.
And so you've been doing that for 13 years now.
Yeah.
Where is Zen Fitness located?
Right now we're in Tower 24, but next month we're going to be in the Hale Publix area in our new building.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're moving to a brand new location.
Brand new.
Tell us about this new location. Why did you expand?
Well, I mean, number one, I was tired of paying rent. So,
Fair enough.
it's a great location. A lot of our clients come from the Southwest area, right there in Publix. And I wanted to also design my own space exactly how I wanted it. After being in another building for 13 years, you know, you kind of find the things that you would like to change.
And it sounds like your approach to fitness is very individualized.
Yes, definitely.
And so, you know, how do you and your trainers, when someone comes in and says, Carly, I need to get back into shape, or I need to get into shape, you know, what's the first thing that you and your trainers do?
Well, I mean, I want to find out what it is that they're exactly wanting to do. Like, you might have some kids that want to get better for a certain sport, but the majority of people just want to feel good, and be healthy. So we try to get into the way that they eat and steer them. If they're my client, it's going to be whole food, plant-based, vegan. But we try to steer them, the majority, into a whole food diet with cutting processed foods, sugars, meat and dairy, if they're open to doing that. And then you get into their fitness, really just trying to give them an overall full body fitness that they can use. So they're strong, and they also have good cardiovascular strength, you know. So really for overall health is what we're going for.
And for those listeners out there that may not know this, Carly is one of the foremost experts in plant-based diets in North Central Florida. Talk a little bit about how you started, you know, eating plant-based diets and how it expanded to what became a really awesome documentary, and I want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, I first really experimented on myself. I had been looking to figure out what was the best nutrition plan, what's the best way to eat since I was young. You know, I tried all kinds of diets, and there's a lot of confusing information out there. So eventually, I came across plant-based, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can do that, but I'm going to try it and see what happens. And I was concerned I might lose some muscle. And
you were like a bodybuilder. You won
I've been lifting weights for a while.
You won Mr. Gainesville, like when you were in high school. So you were obviously eating meat back then.
Yes.
So this was a whole lifestyle change.
A whole lifestyle change. It was difficult at first, but then what I found was I had more energy. I was sleeping better. I lost body fat. I didn't lose any muscle, and I just started. So I was like, well, this is clearly the most effective way to eat. So I started doing it with clients and just seeing amazing results. And that's what gave me the idea, because no one really knew about it at the time. It was very unusual to eat plant-based, especially in the workout world.
And this is over a decade ago.
Yeah. This is when I was 30 when I first started, so that was 14 years ago.
Okay.
And so I was like, you know what, I want to do something where people can see this on a large scale. So I'm going to try to make the biggest transformation I can make. So I found a girl that weighed 346 pounds, and I started filming her. And her results, losing 200 pounds in a year, was more than what I was expecting. I mean, it was crazy.
And that was through a plant-based diet along with exercise through Zen Fitness.
Exactly. Whole food plant-based. She would do an hour of cardio, an hour of training at Zen Fitness.
And you were her personal trainer.
Yes.
And she lost 200 pounds in 1 year.
200 pounds in a year.
And that documentary actually became, you featured it in film festivals.
Yeah.
And you can now watch it, correct?
It won 13 film festival awards, and now you can watch it on Amazon. It's on a number of platforms.
What's the name of it?
Unsupersize Me.
Unsupersize Me. It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
Platforms.
Yep, and other platforms.
I've watched it. It's pretty amazing. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It still amazes me when I watch it.
It's amazing. And in fact, you even had a sequel.
Yeah, and so we had the sequel with one of our friends. Don Blair was actually in it. We had 4 business owners, and we know from tennis that Don Blair was not plant-based.
Oh no.
So that one was more like featured on your everyday man, you know, that had a little bit of a belly. Like Tracy was extremely obese, so that was a huge transformation. But these people were on 3 or 4 medications, various medications, and all had some weight to lose. And within 6 weeks, they were all able to get off all their medications and lost a total of 84 pounds.
That's incredible.
In 12 weeks.
So you're making significant changes in these people's lives.
Significant. Yeah. Very significant.
So we have a couple questions. The first one is Zen Fitness a membership gym, or do they offer classes?
You could say classes, or you could say personal training sessions. It's not a gym, so anyone can't just go and work out whenever they want. They have to be with a trainer. Everyone there is working with a trainer.
So it's very personalized.
Very personalized.
And it's both exercise and diet, so it's actually a lifestyle change. It's
Yep.
not just an hour a day, you're changing everything.
Right. Not only what you're doing in the gym, but also what you're doing outside of the gym.
Next question, what is the optimum time, if any, to eat your meals? And I don't know, nothing after, why is
So
the follow-up?
that's a good question. That's a question I hear a lot. It does not matter when you eat your meals. It just matters what you're eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is just make sure that you understand what you're putting in your body.
Exactly.
And if you know that, then everything else will take care of itself.
Exactly. Teaching the parameters of what you can eat is one of the most important things that we do. Once you know that, you can eat whenever you want.
So one thing about Carly, which is really interesting, we played tennis in high school. He was a
We
fabulous.
haven't gotten into that. In 1995, the Gainesville Sun had co-champions for the Gainesville area for Tennis Player of the Year in high school, and the two winners were Carly and Carrie. So they were the two best, and they would fight
Almost
like
20
cats
years
and
ago.
dogs, okay, they would almost kill each other on the
This
court.
guy was one of the most fierce competitors I ever faced.
I wasn't the most talented, but I hated to lose. I hated to lose more, I like to win. But Carly is really a Renaissance man. He's taught himself, in even the last few years, to play piano. I think you've done some art classes, some
Yeah.
clay making. I know you've done theater.
Yeah.
I mean, talk a little bit about what you've done in the past 5 years, 10 years, because it's really just. I'm really impressed with it.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's been. I really like to learn new things. That's what it all boils down to. I've learned 5 other languages. I've learned to play guitar, piano. I actually made the films myself. I edited them. I started turning that into music videos because I needed music for the film, so it was easier for me just to make it myself.
Right. So you're also a music artist.
Yes, I am.
What's your band's name for those who want to YouTube it?
We don't have a band yet. We just have our own names up on the. It's under my YouTube under Carly Asse if you want to see the videos.
There you go.
Well, Carly, I saw a movie that took place in Cuba.
That was a third one.
Tell us about that. That was incredible.
So thank you. That was I went to Cuba and I wanted to show that you could do this anywhere, even with very little resources. As we know, Cuba is a communist country, very little resources.
And your father is Cuban.
My father's Cuban. Yep. So that's why I first went there, because I wanted to see where my roots came from. And then I had the idea. I was like, you know what? I think I could do a film here. So I went there. The government asked me what I was doing with all these cameras. I told them, like, hey, I'm just making a documentary film. And they said, okay. And so I found this guy, Ridiel Perez Gomez, who now has made it to the United States. And I helped him lose 72 pounds in a 6-month period with no gym, nothing but able to go to the store and get his vegetables. And then we would do our workouts on the beach, on the Malecon.
Wow.
That was one of my favorite films because it was such cool shots in Cuba. Cuba has such beautiful landscape there, and we did some workouts like on the beach, in the water, and then at the end of the movie, so I thought we were going to be done, and I get a call from Ridiel, and he says, "Hey, I got a work visa to Mexico. I'm going to cross the border. Will you vouch for me?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I vouched for him. He came in and he lived with me for 6 months. Now he's like a productive member, working a DoorDash, productive member of society. Loving the opportunity to be in this country and make money.
Wow, that's really an amazing story.
Yeah, it was. I'm proud of him. Very proud of him.
What year was that movie made?
I just released that movie on Amazon a year ago.
Yeah.
I started making it in 2018.
I mean, Carly knows pretty much all the authorities when it comes to plant-based diets. I know you've gone to many seminars. You've obviously have a multi-award-winning films regarding using the plant-based diet. So for any listeners out there that want to experience a lifestyle change, I implore you to give Carly a call and see if he can get started. Is there availability at Zen Fitness right now for people that want to join?
Absolutely. We always will help anyone that wants to be helped.
How do they contact you?
They can call Zen Fitness at 352-333-0936, or they can email in on the website and set up an appointment.
And what's your website?
TheZenFitness.com.
thezenfitness.com.
Yes.
I like
Z,
it.
Z-E-N. So we only have a couple more minutes, so I want to keep things moving because we have so much to explore with you that we're not going to get into everything. But I want to talk a little bit more about your family, because you come from a great family in Gainesville. You come from an artistic family.
Yes.
And I know that you did a play recently, right, over at the Hippodrome. Was that where there was a showing of your film in the Hippodrome?
Yes, there was a showing of the film there. Yeah.
That's what. So, and your mother, Marilyn Wall. I know she recently passed away, but she was always a wonderful person, very nice to me, and she was a Gainesville legend. I know they just renamed the street in front of the Hippodrome.
That's right, Marilyn Wall Way.
Marilyn Wall Way.
Just 2 weeks ago.
Well, I'm so sorry you lost your mother, but she was truly a good person and an incredible tribute to the Gainesville art community.
Thank you.
And you're carrying on the legacy, so people are proud. I'm sure everyone was very proud of you and your family as well, including your mother.
Yeah, it was great growing up in that household. I basically grew up in the Hippodrome. That's where I was first exposed to the arts. My parents had me in all the plays because it was probably easier than babysitting. And then I ended up being in a film when I was 5, where Ed Harris was my dad. But my parents were always there they love theater, they love film. So that's where I really learned to sort of get into that. And then it was a great, just a great service. Everyone that showed up there at the Hippodrome for the renaming of the street, and then just hearing how my mom touched so many people's lives.
Yeah.
She was what, the artistic director there?
She was the costume designer, resident costume designer. So she
mean,
did makeup
forever.
and wardrobe.
Yeah, for what, 40
Yeah,
plus
she was a
years?
founder. She was a founder. So since I think it was founded in '75.
Yeah, I remember Marshall New. I don't know. If
Marshall
you
knew
remember.
he was there. He was there at the service.
really?
Yeah. Marshall's great.
But I was I was an old hippie, so I knew the whole crew there
You knew them all.
but before they moved downtown. Back when they were out right off 441.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you saw the original
53rd
location.
The 53rd Avenue location. Yeah.
I've heard lots of stories about that location.
So I knew your mom for forever, and that whole crew there was amazing. For people that haven't been to the Hippodrome Theater, it's a world-class theater, and they do great production. So we want to support them.
Well, Carly, we didn't have enough time to even start to delve into what we need to, so we'll have to have you back in the future.
Absolutely,
I want to talk more about the recitals that you were doing and everything else that's going on, because really every time I meet you, you have something else that you're working on in terms of improving yourself, which I think is inspirational to me as well as hopefully people out there that are listening to this podcast.
Thank you. I'll have some good stories. I'm headed to Africa for a safari on Monday.
Well, be safe, have a great time. Yeah. All right.
So anyhow, Carrie, I think we're about at the end of the show.
Yeah, we're wrapping up. I guess the last thing we need to ask Carly is, what's going to happen with the Gator football season? We're trying to figure this out. Do you have any guesses?
The Gators are going to win.
Okay. Do you think the question is, are we going to be able to play in front of a stadium with everything that's going on?
If we can play, then we will win.
Yes, I agree with you.
The Gators will play. It's a question of how many people will be in
can
the
see
stadium.
it, right?
Yeah.
So anyone out there, once again, this is Carly Asse. He owns Zen Fitness. Please feel free to reach out to him. Go to the internet, Google Zen Fitness, thezenfitness.com, and you can schedule your own personal sessions with Carly and his staff. And his results speak for themselves. Go to Amazon Prime if you want to watch Unsupersize Me and all of the sequels, and you will get to see what he actually does in terms of transforming people's lives, both mentally and physically.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think we're done for today. Jeffrey, do you have anything else you want to add before we
No, I
go?
just want to thank everybody for joining us on Meldon Law and Friends. And Carly, thank you again. I've known these two guys. I've known Carrie his whole life, obviously, but Carly and Carrie go back to when they were young teenagers,
Middle
13,
school.
14,
Yeah.
playing tennis against each other, fierce competitors. And
Well, we both played in college.
they both played college
Yeah.
tennis, and Marcus, Carly's younger brother, played with Carrie.
Well, he
As a
played
matter-
at UF
He
too.
played at UF, yeah. So So they were three great tennis players, the three best tennis players from the mid-'90s in this part of the state.
I'd
So
say that's fair.
Yeah,
So
that's
that was pretty cool.
Player of the year says it
yeah.
all.
So anyhow, it's nice to see you guys all grown up.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks,
thank
Dad.
you again, and we'll see you all later.
All right. Go Gators.